Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be giving you my Taurus February 2022 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, well, first thing up is, well, as far as February goes, we're going to have a new moon in Aquarius on February 1st, and for Taurus, the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, um, this may manifest it could be the start of it could be an Aquarius like career, doing something with astronomy or astrology, computers, electronics, innovation. Uh, could be the start of a friendship with an authority figure in some cases, maybe just the simple beginning of the expression of altruism and selflessness, or more so than usual for you Taurus, and getting more of a reputation for that at this point in time. And it might be time too where you might even start to get that reputation as being more of like that universal friend to others as well. And it could be a time of of course, new moons are abundance and surfeit of energy, and you may bring that into matters with trying to improve your stature in life and social status, getting notoriety, recognition. It could be again doing something Aquarius related. Now, we're going to also have the full moon in Leo on February 16th. So the fourth house is what will be highlighted and emphasized for Taurus. Now, this could be the time where Taurus, you might be getting tired, full exasperated of a extravagant living situation. If you're spending a lot more in your home, and the funds are exorbitant for where you're staying at, it might be a time where it might be an opportune time to put it to an end. It could also be becoming tired of a full, so to speak, of an bombastic, arrogant, domineering home or family member, or someone you're simply close to home with at this time. Some cases, though, it could be finalizing a real estate deal, which one something that is, you could say, is extravagant, maybe pays an extravagant amount of disclosure, might be more money, maybe in getting more money than what you actually may have anticipated, perhaps. It can be a time too where maybe there's some kind of Leo type traditions that are unveiled to you at this time. Maybe in some kind of family traditions maybe you weren't aware of and you become cognizant of at this time. It could be something with sports or theater, something with creativity or children. May come about something with the military, perhaps might be something that comes around and you might become more cognizant and aware of at this point in time, Taurus. Now, another thing is that, okay, Mercury is going to be in Capricorn from February 1st until the 14th. So for Taurus, the ninth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, Mercury in Capricorn, the transit by itself could be rather introspective, and it's very disciplined thinking. And this might be for you, Taurus, in matters connected with expanding horizons, or your higher, where you are in terms of college education, at this time. It might be, sadly, Mercury in Capricorn can also manifest in rather negative and pessimistic thinking regarding, those matters as well, and, sense of melancholy. If you're somebody that hasn't really done much in terms of your higher education or expanding horizons, I know, Taurus people do have difficulty in expanding horizons. I should know something about that, being a Taurus Ascendant, but anyway, it's just something where you might have, it could also be more disciplined communications with in-laws, with grandchildren at this point in time, and your mind might be focused on very consistent publishing and advertising. That is something you do, Taurus. And also too, Mercury will be in Aquarius from February 14th until the 28th. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, you might find yourself communicating about your future. It might be even subjects connected with astronomy. It could be astrology, computers, electronics, innovation. It could be with the dominant parent, which is often the father, authority figures, older people in general. It might be, really more, contemplating about your future and where in your career and where you are in terms of your social status and stature at this life at this time, Taurus. If you've been somewhat stagnant, this could be the time where your thinking might be more progressive and you want to be moving ahead in 10th house matters in general at this time. And could also be, the 10th house is also connected with a reputation and public image. So it could be a time where you might be thinking, more about where you want to be. What is your, your reputation at this time? Are you thinking about having a reputation at this time for being maybe more selfless, more altruistic, more considerate than you ordinarily were, as some examples? And it could also be a time where you could communicate in a very lucid and perspicacious manner regarding 10th house matters, whether it's your career, career aspirations, endeavors, and what you want to do to improve your social status and stature in life, and really just in general, and being successful and gaining notoriety and recognition. So anyway, well, the next thing up. Well, Venus is going to be in Capricorn for the entirety of the entirety of February 2022. So the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time, Taurus, you could be really valuing, maybe could be structure and discipline in matters with in-laws or grandchildren, if applicable. You could be buying. It might be very, careful, maybe it's valuing premeditation and planning. If you're going to go on, a long distance journey, if you plan on traveling out of the country, and even matters with higher education at this time, it could be money that may be spent on a Capricorn, Capricorn college course, which could be accounting or dentistry. Learning about the government, politics, I would say even mathematics, information technology as some examples. And it's really a time to, Venus is also about our self-worth and self-esteem and how we feel about ourselves. So this could also be a time where it could be strongly tied in. Your self-worth could be tied into expanding horizons at this time. Being in Capricorn, you might feel there might be some restrictions with that, or for some reason, but it could also be about just consistently, methodically doing so. It's not something where you want to go off if you're trying to expand your horizons, and something where you don't want to do 5 different things simultaneously. You don't want to, you may want to just kind of do it very methodically, step by step. Have it very well planned out. Capricorn energy, again, is very premeditative, and it's about planning. So anyway, and it's also a time where you may strive for peace and tranquility, peaceful connections, with foreigners, in-laws, grandchildren, if applicable. And also too, it might be where if you're unattached at this time, Taurus, you might meet, could be an older, prospective romantic partner, or somebody that's very responsible, career-oriented. Might even be a Capricorn Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or one that simply embodies Capricorn characteristics. And it might be somebody that's overseas, or it could be a foreigner. Anyway, well, the next thing up, Mars will be in Capricorn for the entirety of February 2022. So again, the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, well, this time for you, Taurus, since again that Mars being in Capricorn during February 2022, the ninth house being emphasized and highlighted. Well, in some cases it could be contentious or acrimonious situations. It could be with in-laws at this time, or even grandchildren if applicable. It might be battles over responsibility, or matters with the career, just general consistency. Um, might even be disputes over government, just general philosophies and beliefs, and issues with the government, in politics and those things during this time. But at the same time, you also may be putting it might be about a lot of discipline and consistent energy into ninth house matters, whether it may be higher education or advertising or publishing at this time, um, foreign travel as some examples. And it's also having that drive and that motivation to do these things at this point in time. And the thing is, too, Mars is also, having certain enthusiasm, and doing so again it could be planned, very premeditated, long distance journeys at this time, and also about it could even be in activities with religion if you are involved, say in a religious congregation, and having a lot of drive and motivation and taking the initiative in those matters and in those responsibilities. If you're somebody that's at some religious congregation or church or what have you, and you're position of authority there, or you're somebody that's prominent there, this could be the time where you might take that lead more and be able, and it could also be a lot of energy into responsibilities there as well. And those are some ways that this transit may manifest for you at this time, Taurus. So and also could be, you might meet up with somebody that you might be in an intimate relationship with. It might be somebody you meet in a foreign country. Excuse me. That could be an older person or somebody career oriented, that's very ambitious or structured and disciplined and responsible. Anyway, excuse me again. Well, the next thing up, Jupiter will be in Pisces for the entirety of February 2022. So for Taurus, the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Well, at this time, Taurus, this could be very fortuitous for you for goals and aspirations. They could be Pisces related. It could be doing something with poetry or dancing or photography, chemistry, anesthesiology, the metaphysical, which includes astrology as some examples. But keep in mind that, as I've stated in previous videos, Jupiter can be very paradoxical. It could be very strongly benign and benevolent, but could have a tendency to enlarge and expand, and might enlarge deception and duplicity with friends and acquaintances at this time. But you also may be very enthusiastic and exuberant regarding sacrificing for your friends at this time. And also at this time as well, Taurus, it might also enlarge something that's very nebulous or unclear regarding your future at this time. Coupled with the Neptune transit, which I'm going to talk about later in the video. But it can be, time as well, or it could also be very prosperous for doing something Pisces related, which could be a goal or aspiration, and again connected with, could be something Pisces related like poetry, dancing, photography, or the metaphysical, which includes astrology. Jupiter is also about the truth. So you might find yourself at this time, finding out the truth about, deceptive or duplicitous or even alcoholic, could be friends or acquaintances at this time, or people that in some group, club, or organization. It could also enlarge betrayal among 11th house people, whether it could be whether it's friends, acquaintances, people you know in a group, club, or organization, or even stepchildren if applicable at this time. Now, anyway, next thing up. Well, Saturn will be in Aquarius during February 2022, so the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. Well, Taurus, at this time, this can manifest in a number of ways. You might find yourself having more career responsibilities at this time. It could be doing something Aquarius related, um, such as astrology or computers, electronics, innovation, aviation, meteorology as some examples. It could also indicate maybe taking care of a debilitated or sickly dominant parent, which is often the father or maybe another older person that's prominent in your life. It could be doing so, in doing so very altruistically and selflessly. At this time, you might find yourself also working harder at your place of business at this time. Saturn is associated with laborious efforts, and it might even be, you might be working much harder in order to improve your social status and stature in life at this time. What's interesting at this time also is that, Saturn, collectively, how it manifests could be, as far as restrictions on friendships and society. Keep in mind, the COVID variant is prevalent right now, and a lot of people are, or may feel more restricted from society and their friendships and going being around groups. And the thing is, for Taurus, the fact that the 10th house is what's emphasized and highlighted, it might impact their career more so than most people at this time, and maybe getting more success, improving their stature in life, because it's the inability maybe to go out as much and do the things they need to do to actually do that. So those are some ways that this transit may manifest for Taurus at this time. Now, Uranus, speaking of Taurus, Uranus will be in Taurus during February 2022, so the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. Now, at this time, Taurus, it could be doing something, unique with your appearance. Could be, even if it's just getting, a different hairstyle at this time, or you might be dressing in a more eclectic or unorthodox manner, very unique manner. You may become more interested in Uranus-related subjects, whether it could be astrology or astronomy or computers or the internet, meteorology, aviation. These are things that might also be connected with new beginnings at this time. And people that are prominent or were prominent in early childhood, and even a grandparent, these people might be a little bit more eccentric or unpredictable or be acting unusually at this time. And you might also be a time where you might express more ingenuity at this time, more so than usual, Taurus. And the thing is, it can also be, in some cases, you might be, as far as Taurus, as far as issues physically, you may be more susceptible, to Uranus-related things. It could be something with, with the nerves or the calves or the shins or the ankles, or it could even be, spastic activity. You might have it in the throat or the neck. As far as spasms goes, intermittent pain, intermittent twitches, spasms at this time. Now, another thing too, going to Neptune. Well, Neptune is going to be in Pisces. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. Now, at this time, Taurus, you may be dealing, might be certain deception and duplicity. As far as friends go, acquaintances, maybe your future may be more nebulous or unclear at this time. It could also be about Neptune goals and aspirations, and maybe doing something with poetry or dancing or photography or chemistry or the metaphysical, which includes astrology. Also be wary of fallacious mediums which may try to direct you in a future that you feel, if that is not going to work out for you. That might put you in the wrong direction, or it might simply be telling you things, just pacify you and appease you, and things that will not even manifest into reality. Now, Pluto is going to be in Capricorn, of course, for the entirety of February 2022. So the ninth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time, well, Taurus, you might experience, the death of an in-law at this time. Is one possibility. It could also be where you might be going through some religious transformation at this point, or a major change or transformation in your philosophy. It can be where you might become rather obsessed or fixated with higher education, with expanding horizons. It might even be, traveling overseas, publishing, advertising. You might also be at this time, have more of a desire and passion for publishing and advertising, or even sports or the outdoors at this time, Taurus, more so than usual. Being in Capricorn, it could be done in a very disciplined and consistent manner. Now, I'm sorry, people, Mercury is retrograde in Aquarius, and I'll have to rewind over something astrological that I'm talking about. I did not talk about the Sun transits for this month, and I'm going to do whatever that was supposed to be first. I'm going to put it in last. I'm sorry about that. Now, as far as the Sun transit goes for February 2022, the Sun will traverse Aquarius from the 1st until the 18th. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time, Taurus, there could be strong focus. It could be on a Aquarius career, which could be something with computers or electronics, aviation, meteorology, innovation, astrology as some examples, and also a focus perhaps on getting a reputation for being selfless, considerate, altruistic. And the Sun, or even it could be a child, or it could be the biological father, may figure more prominently in career-related matters at this time for you, Taurus, and your success that you may be trying to attain at this time, and gaining greater notoriety and recognition. Now, last but not least, the Sun will be in Pisces in February from the 18th until the 28th. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So for Taurus now, there might be a strong focus on expressing forgiveness, compassion, altruism for friends, acquaintances. At this time, you might find yourself shining in group-related matters, and it could be where you're sacrificing a lot of time, or it could be doing something Pisces-related, such as something with the metaphysical, which includes astrology, poetry, dancing, photography, chemistry. Maybe it's some kind of sport that's associated with Pisces. Maybe it's canoeing or swimming, something with aquatics as some examples. And the biological father or child may figure more prominently in your goals and aspirations than usual at this time. And the biological father and or children, one or more, may be a Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or one that simply embodies Piscean characteristics. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment, and until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.